The ultimate Controlnet for AI videos is here and is just incredible. Hello humans, my name is K, your AI overload, and boy oh boy, do I have some insanely mind-blowing stuff for you today. Because yes, we literally just got the most powerful upgrade to AI video generation we've seen in a long time, called Vase. A brand new Controlnet AI video model that gives you full control over your video generations like never before. That is completely uncensored, yes, and thanks to a game-changing LoRa called CausVid, you can now generate videos up to 4 times faster than before. Yeah, and all of that running locally on your computer right now. So that being said, sit back, relax, and let's go. And to install Vase, you have 2 ways. The first is of course by using the one-click installer that is available for my Patreon supporters. Just download the file onto your computer, then double-click it. It will then ask you what is your VRAM GPU. If you have less than 12 GB of VRAM, you're gonna press number 1. If you have a GPU between 12 and 16 GB of VRAM, you're gonna choose number 2. And if you have more than 16 GB of VRAM, like me, you're gonna choose number 3. And then press enter. And this will download and install ConfigUI and Vase from scratch automatically. You don't need to do anything. And if you already have a previous ConfigUI installation and you just want to install the missing nodes and models, then for this you can simply use the models node install.bat file, then go inside ConfigUI and place that file right here. That you can then run to automatically install everything that you're missing. Simple as that. You don't need to do anything. And once you are inside ConfigUI, do not forget to update it to the latest version, either by using the ConfigUI manager or by using the bat file inside the update folder that you can find right here. But if your ConfigUI is already to the latest version, now we can proceed with the special workflow. And for this video, I created a special Vase workflow that you can download on my Patreon. So just download the file onto your computer, then you're gonna drag and drop it inside ConfigUI, and there you go. And if you want to install it the manual way, I will have a link to the manual guide. I've already made multiple videos on how to install ConfigUI. It's very simple, but the links for the models will be in the description down below. Okay, so now we can finally have some fun. Okay, so what is Vase exactly? What does it do? Well, as I said previously, it's basically a Controlnet for video generation where you can basically use as an input a video to generate a new video using an image reference. So like for example, let's actually generate an actual video from scratch. So first you're gonna come here and activate this workflow right here. Then here down below, I'm gonna put a video of this, like for example, camera going inside like a corridor. And then for the reference image, I'm gonna use something like a forest road, for example. Just gonna deactivate this. I'm only gonna use the depth Controlnet for this one. I will explain how everything works a little bit later. Once I show you how it looks, then I'm gonna input the width and the height. The length is okay. Then I'm gonna write my prompt, input my FPS rate, which will be the same as the video, and then I'm just gonna keep everything by default, and I'm just gonna click run. And in the end we get something like this, a mix between our previous video and the reference image that we input right here, combined into something like this. I mean, this looks pretty good. And also, this was generated in around 2 minutes. That's right, only 2 minutes. And if you want, you can even generate it in less than 60 seconds. So yeah, I mean, this is really impressive. So the way it works is basically you input your video reference, then it's gonna use one of the 3 Controlnet groups, either OpenPose, Depth Anything, or the Canny Edge. It will then create a map that will be used in combination with the image that will be used as a reference to generate a final video right here, which is basically like the combination of our video and our reference image right here. And this is what Vase actually does. It is simply a very powerful Controlnet model for AI video generation. But of course, applied camera movement is not the only thing that Vase can apply it to. Probably the best example is using an actual human doing human things and apply it to other images. So like for example, in this case, I'm just gonna use the special WPose estimator, which is kind of like a more powerful version of the Pose Controlnet, and use this medieval knight as an example to make him dance. So now if I click run, and we get something like this in the end. A medieval knight basically dancing, following the exact same movement as the video in question that we put right here. So yeah, I mean, this is really pretty good. So yeah, I mean, basically, as you can see, there isn't that much really to explain. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. Vase is simply a ControlNet model that allows you to apply movement from a video onto an image, or more like using the image as in reference and combine it with the movement of the video to create another video right here. Simple as that. Use it, one of the little tips and tricks, and how I basically set this all up so that you basically get the best quality generation possible. Alright, so let's start from the very beginning. If you ever used one of my workflows before, you know the way I operate. Basically everything on the left side is the information that you need to basically pay attention to. These are all the nodes that you might want to modify and use. So like for example, let's start at the very beginning. Here you're gonna choose your model, the model that was downloaded for you. In my case, since I choose number 3, I have the Q8 version of the model downloaded, so I'm gonna select that one. Then I'm gonna scroll down, and here we have the amazing CausVid LoRA that I talked about in the beginning of the video, which is basically a very special LoRA that you can use with WAN 2.1 models to increase the speed of the generation. And it works really, really well. Now, basically, it doesn't really increase the speed, it just allows you to use less steps to generate your video, but it works so well that I highly recommend using this LoRA at all times. This is really a must-have, no matter what you do. Now, as I say right here, the better values for the CausVid LoRA are between 0.7 and 0.75 in strength. But the higher the value, the better the movement, and the better it follows the prompts, but it also introduces a little bit more flickering in the video if your video steps are a bit too low. So the next, you of course have your prompt. So like here, for example, it's simply a witch giving a kiss to the camera, forest in the background, and this is exactly what we have. I mean, this is pretty good. This is very, you know, it follows the prompt really, really well. So the next, here I input a special note that basically tells you that the best number of steps using the CausVid LoRA is between 10 and 15, with 12 being in between to really give you the best quality generation possible. However, keep in mind that of course, the more steps, the better the quality, but of course the more time it's gonna take to generate your video. Now, although I say here that between 10 and 15 steps are the sweet spot for the CausVid LoRA, you can actually use a much lower step number to generate a quicker video by using, for example, 4 or 6 steps for the generation. And depending on the video that you want to generate, it might actually work very well. So like for example, let's say that this is our video with 12 steps. If I choose now 4 and I redo the generation using the same exact seed, well, it gives us something like this. I mean, this looks really damn good. I mean, do you even see a difference? I don't even see a difference actually. This is actually very surprising. So like this is the one with 12 steps and this is the one with 4 steps. Yeah, I mean, basically almost no difference, or at least when it comes to this specific video generation. And this was generated in like 45 seconds. So yeah, I mean, even 4 steps is actually very impressive for the types of generation that you get. But obviously, the more complex the generation, the more details there are, the more steps that you will need to see the difference. But if you just want to try and see how it works, and if you just want to test it, 4 steps is really just the bare minimum if you want to generate a cool looking video. So yeah, I mean, really cool. I mean, less than a minute to generate this video, this is really cool. Okay, so the next we have here the length. As I see right here, is basically like the number of frames you want your videos to be, and the more frames there are, the longer the video will be. So it's really up to you and how long you want your videos to be. Then you have the width and the height, you have the dimension, the resolution of the video. Here it's basically up to you to choose the correct ratio from either the image that you input right here or the video example that you input right here. Either you follow the ratio of the image or you follow the ratio of the video. And you don't necessarily have to use like a square image with a square video. You can simply use like any dimension or any ratio image that you want or any ratio video that you want. It really doesn't matter. So the next here is where you upload your image. As I said, this is the reference image that will be used to generate your final video. So here, right next to the image, I made a special option to remove the background. So like, for example, in this case, I input, for example, that we are in a forest and it only like created this very faint forest right here by using the background of this image. But if I were to actually enable this option and keep everything as is, if now I click run, as you can see, now the background is completely different. So not only it's not the same background as the reference image right here, but also it allows the background to be more dynamic and even move with the video. So if you really want to add more movement to your video generation, if you just want to modify the existing background, you can definitely enable this option. Now obviously sometimes you do want to keep the background, you don't want to remove it, which is why the ability to have this option enabled or not is really super useful. Okay, so now if we scroll down, we have basically the last part, and here this is where you input your reference video, and it has here a frame load cap of 81 frames, but if you don't want to have a frame cap, you can simply click it and just put 0. This way, this is not like gonna cap the amount of frames that a video has. It will allow you to generate the entirety of the video's movement into your new video right here. But usually, as a good practice, I do like to put like at least like a 81 frame cap right here, because this way I can quickly use the same exact parameters each time and see like the difference for the same amount of frames. Now here I also inputted a video info group that allows you to know what is the number of FPS of each video, the number of frames, the resolution of the video, as well as the duration in seconds. This way you don't need to like right click on the video file and check manually to know all of these informations. And like for example, if you just want to verify the information of a video without actually generating anything, you can simply disable this and then enable the video info group. And then if you actually just upload a video, and then if you click run, it will then tell you in a few seconds for this specific video, its FPS, the amount of frames, the resolution, as well as the duration. And the reason why these informations are important is because you will need the amount of frames and the number of FPS for the final video right here. Now you don't necessarily need to follow exactly the number of frames for this video. If for example the number of frames for this video is 10 FPS with 24 frames, meaning that the video lasts for about 2.4 seconds, you can absolutely just leave everything by default. Just leave 81 frames with 30 FPS right here, so that now if you generate again, and it gives us something like this. So as you can see, this video generation, like the speed is actually really fast, because the original video is very slow at only 10 frames per second, but since we are using 30 FPS, we are basically making the video 3 times as fast. So if you want to like preserve the speed, you have to use the same FPS as your video right here. Unless you of course like the final results, of course, this is really up to you. Okay, so next we have basically the last part of the workflow, and that is all the different Controlnet groups that you can find right here. You have the OpenPose Controlnet with the WPose estimator, which is basically like a better version of the OpenPose that is basically able to recreate like a sort of human skeleton that is then able to use this data to create a new video. And then we have depth anything that is able to create like this depth map. And then you have the canny edge that if you actually let it run, it creates like this weird white outline on the video, but that is able to pick up even small details like logos and stuff if you want to have that in your final video. And of course, with my particular workflow, you can actually use all 3 at the exact same time. So if you want to use like the WPose estimator with the depth anything, with the canny edge at the exact same time, well, with my workflow, you can. So when you put them together, it kind of looks like this. As you can see, at the same time, we have this weird skeleton from the WPose estimator, we have the depth map from the depth anything, and we have like these weird white lines from the canny edge Controlnet. And it gives us something like this. Now, as you can see, we don't really see a lot of differences because, well, there aren't a lot of, details for us to keep. But if we actually use this video, for example, and we redo the generation again, it gives us something like this. As you can see, this time we have definitely a little bit more like information because using the canny Controlnet, it basically took like this max logo in the Controlnet video and then applied it to our final video. So yeah, I mean, if you want to have small details in your video, use canny, but usually most of the time you will be using either the W pose, or the depth anything, or both at the same time. This is really up to you. Okay, so now that this is done, let's actually talk about the rest of the workflow, like the video upscaler and the video interpolation. Now, I've already talked about this workflow in my one video, but basically video upscaler allows you to, well, as the name implies, upscale a video. So like, for example, if I upload the video that we made right here, and let's say that we want to make it into a square 1080 by 1080 with the same 30 FPS. If now I click run, it should very quickly take this video and upscale it into a higher resolution video. And there you go, as you can see right here. So like, this is the before, a smaller video of 720 by 720, and now this is the finished video, a 1080 by 1080 resolution, the before and then the after. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, it's pretty easy to use, but it's a very cool workflow to have. And the next one is basically also very cool. It is the video interpolation, and basically what video interpolation does is that it allows you to generate more frames in between those frames to make it a higher frame rate video. So like, for example, if we input the previous video that we upscaled, that video was in 30 FPS. If we now want to multiply it by 2, for example, into a like 60 FPS video, well, we can very simply do it like this. So if I click run, it's gonna take the video and then generate in between frames to create a 60 FPS video, as you can see right here. This video is now definitely a much higher resolution with double the amount of frame rate as before, and all of that generated on our computer locally. So yeah, I mean, this is really cool. And Vase is actually so powerful that you can actually use multiple characters in, inside the same video, then use the reference image for all of these different characters to create something completely new. So, I mean, yeah, this is really impressive. We basically started with this video that we then used this reference image to create something completely different. So 4 different characters dancing in rhythm at the exact same time. And it actually looks really good. I mean, the coherence of the generation is absolutely incredible. I mean, the movement is fluid, multiple characters dancing together is really just incredible. And I actually used only 4 steps to generate this video. So this was generated in less than a minute, which is really just insane. So yeah, Vase is really powerful. But don't worry, even if you don't have a powerful GPU, or if you don't have a GPU at all, you can actually rent a GPU on a website like RunPod and run it as if this is running on your local computer. If you don't have a RunPod account already, you can click the link in the description down below and create a new account. Then you're gonna deploy a pod and select a GPU with at least 24GB of VRAM, like for example this 4090 for example. Then you're gonna click change template and look for the Entrepreneur Config UI, then select it. Then you're gonna click edit template and change the container disk from 10GB to 80GB, then click set overrides, scroll down and then click deploy on demand. Then you're gonna wait for everything to be finished. Once it's ready, you're gonna click connect, then click on the Jupyter Lab link right here. Then once you are over here, you're gonna go inside Config UI, and if you are one of my Patreon supporters, here the installation process will be very easy for you because I've made an easy one-click installer. So just select that file and drag and drop it into the workspace right here. Then you're gonna click on the terminal icon and copy and paste these 2 lines of code that you will find in the Patreon post, and then press enter. And this will install all the missing nodes and models automatically. You really don't need to do anything. And once the download and installation is finished, you're gonna go back and click on this link right here. Then from here, you're gonna click on the manager button and click update all. And if you want to follow the process of the update, you can basically go back inside the logs folder, then click on terminal, then use this command so that you can follow what exactly is happening at all times. So then you're gonna click restart, then press F5 to refresh, and then you can simply drag and drop the workflow inside Config UI, and then use it as if this was running on your local computer. Simple as that. Oh, and also don't forget that I provide priority support for my Patreon supporters, so if you have any question whatsoever, do not hesitate to send me a DM, and I will try to answer your question as soon as possible. And yeah, there you go, this has been Vase, an absolutely amazing Controlnet model for AI video generation that is probably one of the best upgrades to AI video that we have ever seen in a while. That is available to use right now on your local computer. It took me a while to create this workflow, but I am 100% sure that you will absolutely love it. So that being said, definitely try this out yourself, and have some fun. And there we have it, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and smash the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Thank you also so much to my Patreon supporters for supporting my videos. You guys are absolutely awesome. You people are the reason why I'm able to make these videos, so thank you so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.